Hello horror fans, we're back with news on the new adaptation of Stephen King's Dark Tower, and this time, it's in some seriously good hands. Mike Flanagan, yep, the mastermind behind The Haunting of Hill House and Midnight Mass, is stepping up to tackle King's legendary saga. While this might not be your first time hearing about an adaptation of The Tower coming to screen, I'm looking at you 2017 film, Flanagan's take is already shaping up to be the one fans have been hoping for. With his signature eerie vibe and a real respect for King's work, horror lovers are cautiously hyped. So here's a quick rundown of everything we know so far, and why this might finally be the Dark Tower adaptation we've all been waiting for. Before we get into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. The release date saga. So far, there's no set release date for the Dark Tower TV series. Mike Flanagan confirmed that the pilot script was complete and that he had a full season breakdown and an unofficial plan for 5 full seasons, with 2 feature-length specials to boot. That's definitely ambitious, but honestly, that makes total sense given how massive Stephen King's Multiverse is. Flanagan left Netflix after finishing the first run of projects he'd agreed to produce there, and is now operating under a new overall deal with Amazon Studios through his company Intrepid Pictures. Flanagan has had full ownership of the Dark Tower rights, one of the biggest victories in this fight, giving him the freedom to pitch it wherever he thinks best. The mere fact that the development continues is encouraging. Throw in the cause of the recent industry strikes, WGA and SAG-AFTRA in 2023, and you have your recipe for a painfully slow rollout. Yet, everything suggests that Flanagan will remain laser-focused on bringing this ambitious dream project to life. So even though there's no clock ticking down just yet, hope is definitely in the air. What's it gonna be? Save the planet, heal the world, together. From the look of it, Mike Flanagan isn't pulling any punches. He wants his Dark Tower series to be the adaptation fans have been waiting for decades. He's returning to where it all started, The Gunslinger, the first book in Stephen King's 7-novel epic. Unlike the noisy, distracting 2017 adaptation that tossed around several separate novels with abandon into a single, cluttered blockbuster, Flanagan is all in, working from the ground up. He's hoping to gradually untangle Roland Deschain's trek through Midworld, introducing us to the universe in carefully measured layers, with plenty of atmosphere and character development. At the center of this story is Roland, the last of the gunslingers, a stoic, haunted warrior forged in the fires of loss, war, and a singular sense of duty. His aim? To get to the fabled Dark Tower, an otherworldly edifice that is the linchpin of all existence. It's the backbone of the entire multiverse, and the potential for its destruction puts literally everything at stake. Flanagan is well known for intersecting trauma, faith, mortality, and redemption throughout his work. The Dark Tower is filled with all of that, whether it's the private hell of a gunslinger left with no good options, or the tenuous connections woven between damaged souls, working to escape destiny. What's at stake emotionally in this yarn is off the charts. Throw in a time-traveling subplot, alternate universes, occasional psychic powers, and several really scary creatures, and you've got a strange, sweeping tale that's distinctly hard to define. Who all is involved and who's behind it? Casting hasn't even been officially announced yet, but that hasn't stopped fans from wildly speculating who could fill these iconically beloved roles. Roland Deschain, the taciturn gunslinger, is the shit. Idris Elba famously took on the character in the 2017 film adaptation. Flanagan is likely to take the character in a different direction. Roland is frequently portrayed as a Clint Eastwood-esque figure, all haunted past and steely sense of mission. Other fandoms are looking for a dark horse candidate type, maybe someone who is relatively unknown, but can develop into the role over the course of 5 seasons. If casting can capture the magic and tone of the books while delivering a story uniquely its own, fans are in for a treat. These characters are the emotional core of the saga, and if you can get these guys right, you've won the battle, or half of it at least. Big baddie alert. Hiding in the dark corners of Roland Deschain's quest is an antagonist as ancient, malicious, and mysterious as the Dark Tower, the Man in Black. Known by dozens of names throughout Stephen King's extended universe, Walter O'Dim, Martin Broadcloak, and most famously Randall Flag, this dark sorcerer is the apex predator of chaos. He doesn't merely twist facts, he warps dimensions. A central villain in King's Multiverse, The Stand, Eyes of the Dragon, and many others. Flag embodies the siren call of destruction. He's not just evil to be evil, he's a great friend, but he's entropy in human form. In the 2017 film, Matthew McConaughey portrayed him as a sleek, smooth-talking villain, more Bond baddie than mythic menace. Mike Flanagan's vision, on the other hand, a completely different kettle of fish. He wants to return the character to his literary origins, not merely a magician, but a cosmic entity of unearthly beauty, caprice, and wickedness. In King's novels, Flag is more than an antagonist. In a cosmic battle against fate, free will, and the notion of moral order, he's King's most significant philosophical adversary. That's a dream playground for Flanagan, who's made a name for himself off of deeply introspective, psychologically complex villains. Midnight Mass's Father Paul, anyone? One thing's for certain though, this isn't your typical dark wizard. Flag is a villain who transcends worlds, warps realities, and feeds on darkness. With Flanagan at the helm, look for a dark, cerebral, reimagined horror, an antagonist that crawls under your skin and makes a permanent home there. What's slowing it down further? Delays and industry drama. In a word, Limbo. After exiting Netflix, Flanagan signed a new deal with Amazon, but The Dark Tower isn't included in that agreement, at least not immediately. On the more positive side, he owns the rights completely. He has the flexibility to take the series to any cable or streaming network he wants to push the project. This setup is both a blessing and a curse. That freedom is wonderful, but it results in much longer periods of entirely unnecessary waiting, as studios lick their chops and chew the cud over the cost, tone, and likelihood of success in adapting such a gargantuan story. Then there's the 2023 writers and actors strike hangover, which brought development to a standstill, or at least slowed progress on scores of existing projects. All the times Flanagan has talked about The Dark Tower being his passion project, and him doing everything he can to get it going, he is for sure, but the competition in the streaming landscape and the changing audience preferences make the timing very tricky. Don't get me wrong, this appearance isn't the story of a case script dancing in the dark waiting to be discovered. It's actually super hot, just biding its time until someone smart finds its major breakout door. Wild fan theories and multiverse madness. One of the most thrilling aspects of The Dark Tower is the way it links to the overall Stephen King multiverse. For fans, the discussion has quickly turned to whether or not Flanagan will connect his new series with characters or locations from other King adaptations. Would we be able to glimpse Pennywise as one of the multiverse's demons? Would Jake be able to stay at the Overlook Hotel? Perhaps Eddie even passes a Dairy Town sign. Flanagan having already given us Dr. Sleep, Gerald's Game, and Midnight Mass, all of which were heavily inspired by King's flowing prose. Though Flanagan claims he wishes to adhere to the source material, he's anything but a stranger to breadcrumbing in clever allusions and callbacks. One persistent fan theory has had Flanagan laying the groundwork for a much larger King-based cinematic universe, much like Marvel managed to do with the MCU. Naturally, all of this is speculation, but the mythology is deep and fans are ravenous for the intricate web storytelling of which Marvel has been so adept. The potential is limitless in a multiverse where time is malleable, portals lead to alternate dimensions, and Ka is perpetually vigilant. Stephen King's seal of approval. In case you hadn't noticed, Stephen King isn't one to mince words, particularly when it comes to other people screwing up adaptations of his work. So when he subsequently reviewed the disastrous 2017 Dark Tower movie, giving it a big thumbs down and proclaiming it a colossal miss, genre fans all agreed with him. Skip ahead to Mike Flanagan coming to the plate, and the game changes. Smart and inclusive growth advocates will agree, King is all in, completely unconditionally in favor. Flanagan has already gained King's trust with previous adaptations, including Gerald's Game and Dr. Sleep, two films that most didn't believe they could do justice to on screen. Both adaptations remained faithful to the emotional and psychological depth of King's original works, and King was impressed. He credited Flanagan for grasping the emotional core of his tales, rather than focusing solely on the horrific elements. That kind of trust isn't built overnight. In recent interviews, King has gone on record about his satisfaction with Flanagan's version of The Dark Tower. He's provided his imprimatur, which in King world is equivalent to being knighted with a stenopad. Considering just how personal, weird, and sprawling the Dark Tower saga is, a series that connects much of King's whole literary universe, his seal of approval matters a lot. With King in his corner, Flanagan not only has creative freedom, but the ultimate fan's faith. It gets better. Marvelous verdict. This could be the King adaptation people have been hoping for. Mike Flanagan's got a solid multi-season plan, a talent for crafting layered characters, and the spirit of a true quartet member. He's aiming for something bold and ambitious, and honestly, if someone's built for it, it's him. While there's no studio officially backing it yet, the moment this project gets the green light, it's bound to be the epic, faithful, mind-bending journey fans deserve. Whether you've been reading King for years, or you're just starting to dive in, this one is worth keeping on your radar. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.